let's talk about your time here at Freedom. So you've been here combined now how long?
Probably a little over a year, probably in between a year and a year and a half, somewhere in that ballpark. Probably a little closer to the year and a half rather than the year, but somewhere in that ballpark.
Okay.
So.
How do you like the job?
I love it.
What do you do?
I pick up trash.
Right. So
I drive a truck and I pick up trash.
Yeah, you do a lot of the out of town, like country routes, in like St. Francis County, St. Genevieve County.
Yep, I'm mostly rural with a with a touch of town in the lines of Bismarck, but that's the only day that I'm really in town. So
yeah.
Yeah.
How do you like the rural routes?
They're a lot better than the in-town routes. In town, you just get to look at a bunch of houses. I get to look at the landscape and different types of houses all over the place. I mean, it's not in town where generally every house kind of looks the same. I get to see different people's perspectives in the lines of what they want out of their houses. So it could range from a log cabin to one of these portable sheds that somebody remodeled. So it's just all over the place.
Yeah, and you run the routes that I used to run.
Correct.
And I know it was always really cool to go out in the rural routes and see everybody, kind of how they set up their house, how they set out the layout of, of their land, their home, stuff like that. You really see some variables out there.
Oh, yeah,
and I always enjoyed that.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, today is actually my favorite day of the week in the lines of the rural aspect of it. I have a lot of door stops in the lines of I have to drive all the way up these people's 2.5 mile long driveway to pick up 2 bags of trash out of a 50-gallon trash can. So I get to see a lot of how they have each individual house set up, and rather than just seeing it from the road and it looks cool, I actually get almost a hands-on look at it.
Right. You're at their porch. Usually you're behind
right
their house
there,
or behind their barn or whatever,
for sure.
Wherever their stuff is. And then you get to interact with the dogs.
Oh, yeah. That's my Monday route. I got two dogs that are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Granted, this week it was a little rough. I don't know their names. I don't have the slightest idea. One's a black lab and one's a brown lab. You got the brown one's a female. The black one's a male. Just, he's huge. He's got a noggin on him the size of, it's big. Well, as soon as you kick the e-brake on the truck, both of them are just full bore running at you, trying to get up to you so you can pet them. Well, the black dog, he doesn't leave your side from the time you get out of the truck till the time you get back in the truck. Well, this week he comes up and I start petting him like I normally do, just petting the crap out of him, and and then I grab the trash can and I go to dump it, and then I just smell this reek of fish. Well, I didn't realize it, but this dog had been rolling in a pile of just, I guess, dead fish guts, and I'm telling you, it was bad.
That stunk.
Oh, it was bad. I didn't realize it until after. I was like, oh my God, what did I just do?
So it just,
it was bad. And I'm talking the Freedom from Waste hand sanitizer. I use like 3/4 of the bottle just to get rid of the smell. It was so bad. So...
That's bad. Have you ever had any instances with like dogs bark at you or like come at you where they think that...
Well, that's today's route.
Or like where you're going to attack you?
We got a dog we call Cujo, and he's intense. And not only is he intense, but he's a really large dog, and the fence that he's in is only like 3 foot high. So and then the customer's can that you pick up, it's directly against this 3 foot high fence. So when you go up, you run up to the fence and you grab the 2 cans and you go to pull them away from the fence, and this dog just stands up and he's like eye to eye with you, and he's just going ham. He does not like you there, which is crazy too, because whenever I first started running the route a year and a half ago, I could pet this dog. I leaned over the fence every single Tuesday, scratched his head, played with him, gave him a treat, and never once did he bark at me. And then, I don't know, something just flipped, and he decided he didn't like me anymore. So now I tread lightly on that individual stop. But outside of that, I don't really have any other dogs. I mean, sometimes you might run into a dog that just gets a little freaked out from the truck, and then he comes up real timid and looks like he's going to mess with you. But as long as you show him a little love, they don't mess with you.
Well, it is crazy. I've had dogs like charge at me, like they were going to attack me. You know, I mean, they're barking, they're foaming, they're biting, you know, nipping at the air, and then they get to you, and then you just pet them, and that's all you can do. You know, because they're already at you.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
No
so if they're going to bite you,
it.
you're already bit.
Yeah.
But I've never been bit. And you can start petting the dog, and they go from with their hair standing up on the back of their neck, and they're going to eat you, to, we're fine. You know, you're my buddy. And then I've had some dogs that won't let me get out of the truck, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this dog literally is going to bite me. I'm done.
Yep, I had a talking on to the scared of being bit dog. I had another stop that this dog had always been on a chain. He always yelled at me whenever I backed into the driveway to grab this certain customer's can, and I've never once been afraid of a single dog on the route anytime whatsoever until this dog. So I backed up in there. It's another stop that you back all the way up into the driveway. I get into the driveway. I hop out. The guy's got, I think, 3-4 cans. So I get to dump in the cans, and then I realized that the dog was not on his chain. So it's normally off the side of the porch, just yelling at you, letting you know that he don't like that you're there. And I had realized that the dog wasn't on the chain as I'm on the wrong side of the truck, and I'm the furthest away from the driver door as I can get. So this dog decides he doesn't want me on the property. So he comes up and he chased me all the way up the truck. So I scaled the truck.
Did you scale the back of it?
Oh, scaled all the way up to the top of the truck, walked across the top of the truck, and then went in the driver window to get back into the truck because he would not let me touch the ground.
Yeah.
If I got within a foot of the ground, he was at the edge of the truck, just perched up on the back of the truck. So that was the only instance on the whole time I've worked here where I've ever was afraid I was going to get bit. Don't get me wrong, my Wednesday dog scares the bejesus out of me every time I go to this individual stop. But outside of that guy, he's controllable because he's in a fence. But outside of that was the only other instance I've ever been afraid to get bit. So
I had one that was close. I actually used the trash can as a blocker between me and the dog. I've only ever seen the dog out one time at this house. I didn't even know they had a dog. It was a big old boxer. And this thing came running at me, and the guy's outside. He said, "Don't let that dog get you. It'll bite you." And I'm standing off, and we're in the middle of a 2-lane highway with 55-mile-an-hour speed limit, right? So I'm in my lane going north. And southbound traffic's behind me. I get the truck stopped, and I'm dumping the can. Here comes the dog. And this guy's yelling at me, "Hey, don't let the dog get close to you. He's going to bite you." You know, so I'm using the can and keeping the can between us, and we're doing circles and dancing, and the dog's trying to get around me. And then, so the guy goes inside to get the woman, I guess that's whose dog it was. She was the owner. I don't know, you know, however it worked out. But so she's outside. She's coming outside to get her dog. She's moving slow. The dog's still trying to get me. He's got me backed up into oncoming traffic, and I got to watch behind me to make sure I don't step out because these cars that are coming, they can't see me. I mean, trash guys get hit all the time. Gosh, I think there's already been, I was just reading an article this morning. I think there's been 7 trashmen hit in the country this month already.
I was listening to the radio, I think yesterday actually, and on 105.7 The Point, they were talking about the most dangerous jobs and going from the top to the bottom, listing them, and I think I'm almost positive the waste industry is like number 6.
Yeah, 5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah, 5 or 6 on the national list.
It would be higher too, but people have moved to the automated trucks and the front load trucks. We're still using the conventional rear load, so our actual position would be higher on that than 5 or 6.
Well, that's another aspect of it too. It also comes down to proper training in the job. I mean, my head's on a swivel. I mean, I'm by myself all the time, and my head's on a swivel 110% of the time. So I feel like the situation is controllable. The only aspect that it's not controllable is if a car is to hit the truck coming from the front of the truck while you're in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
Outside of that aspect, I think the whole situation is a controllable
But it's really, it
process.
has to be controlled. It's like driving a Jeep down the road. You really,
Yeah,
you're
you
really
don't have an
controlling
option.
this.
And then on that aspect of it too, you just can't. You have to make sure that people understand that they need to be on a swivel all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as our employees go
It's
and our
definitely
drivers.
definitely a dangerous job.
Yeah. And then the customers in the community that you're in. Luckily, we are in a little bit of a rural community, and sometimes it's hard to remember because we do have quite a few close calls, or have had. You know, it just happens when you're out on the job, because of how dangerous it is and where you're working. I mean, you're imagine being a road crew. I mean, that's what we are. Is we're a road crew without any of the signs. Hey, we're working in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And it's basically a surprise for everyone when they get to us and we're there. So it is extremely dangerous. But along with that, the area that we do have is people are used to, say, trucks or trailers or horses or wagons or whatever, around. Tractors taking up and going slow down the road. So
luckily, we live in that type of community. 100%.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the trash business is crazy. We can talk about,
100%
just
crazy.
dogs and how dangerous it is and close calls for risking, trash, right? Just to dump that trash can, we're out there risking our life every day, all day. But what is some of the craziest stuff you've seen? Either things that people have thrown away, or maybe when you get to somebody's house. Everybody's got some crazy stories.
I've seen people throw away a lot of stuff that they probably shouldn't. But, people's driveways are pretty crazy. They're definitely not meant for a truck.
And then they want you to come up there all the time.
Yeah, and then they want you to come up there all the time, every day, all day.
With tree branches hitting you in the windshield.
100%. Yeah, every time. And that's even after you tell them to trim it, and they come through and trim it, and they just, I don't know if they just don't realize that the truck's bigger than they are or what. They just go through with a chainsaw and cut all the wrong branches off.
Or what do you think is like we all have trash finds, right? That's another thing that when you become a trash man, that's one of the first things you kind of get introduced. You start grabbing stuff, You're like, wait, what? Don't throw this away. Don't throw that away. Just was it last week or the week before? Somebody brought in a Sawzall in the case. Milwaukee Sawzall in the case.
Yep.
Like had everything, plugged it in. It was a corded one. We plugged it in.
Worked just fine.
Yeah, just fine.
I run into that a lot. This last week, I don't dumpster dive. If something is in the dumpster, I'm not going to dig it out. That's just my personal cleanliness. I don't mess with any of that. But 9 times out of 10, if somebody has something that they don't want anymore and it's not junk, they'll leave it sitting next to the trash can. Like this last week, I'm really upset about it too. It really just PO'd me. So I pull up to the stop, and it has a wooden rocking chair that it looked like somebody had tried to do a little renovation on it and redo it and bring it back to life, kind of a deal. And they just gave up. They put a little bit of paint on it and might have sanded 6 inches of it, and then they're like, this ain't for me. Well, I left it there. I'm not going to throw that in the back of the truck because the only thing that was wrong with it is it needed a little bit of TLC on the arms. The arms were a little loose, so you needed to pull the arms back off, re-glue them, and then that was about it. And then you needed to sand it down and put a new coat of lacquer thinner or some other type of stain, whatever you decide to do. But I was stoked about it. So I left it there because I was coming back out there with an empty truck, so I was gonna swing back out, throw it into the back of the truck once I was done for the day, to where I didn't have to crush it because I can't fit it in the front of the truck.
Right.
So I was gonna throw it in the back of the truck, leave it there, take it back to the shop, and then I was gonna take it home and redo it. Well, get my whole route done. I'm done for the day, and I had to swing back out there to go get a dumpster, so I'm swinging back out. And I get the dumpster, and I pull back down this side road because I had to pass it anyways, and go back down there, and the dang thing's gone. So now I'm mad because I left it there so I could come back and get it, not so somebody else could wake up. Somebody else could wake up at 8 o'clock and go, "Ooh, I'll take that."
Yeah.
And they did. So that sucked. I find stuff all the time. Every day there's something I'm like, why are people throwing this away? Granted, I don't have anywhere to put it, so it's not like I can do anything with it except for either leave it there or throw it into the back of the truck. And if it's something that I absolutely don't need, unless it's going to be something that's like a hobby for me, I normally don't pick it up. But
Right.
if it's something that just trips my trigger, I'll leave it there. This is actually going back to the crazy thing. This is probably the craziest thing that I've had happen.
Okay.
So right after I first started, I might have been here 2 months, running my route, and this guy, it's right smack dab in the middle of the summer, and this guy decides he doesn't want his grill anymore. So this is the grill had to have been maybe a month old. It wasn't old. It barely was used. And not only was it barely used, but the guy had the grates in the grill up the wrong way. So he had the flat surface up in the grill to where he was cooking it on the wrong side. So whenever I flipped the grates over the right way, they were brand new, never been cooked on. And I'm almost this is like a $500-$600 grill. And I'm almost positive the guy threw it away because the electric button quit working. So you have to flip the grate up and take a cigarette lighter and start it up. And he used it for a month and decided to throw it away.
Dude, that happens every summer at least.
It just blows my mind. What kind of money do you have to throw away a $500 grill that's only 2 months old? And then I called the company that the grill was from, and they sent me a new igniter for free.
But, you're touching on why we wanted to start the hub. Why we originally started the hub is because we got tired of throwing away so much stuff that has no business being thrown away. It's not even close to trash. Just this person's done with it.
Yep.
But man, I know 100 people that could benefit from having this in their life, whatever it may be. So we set up the hub.
Yep.
It overran the shop this year, so we closed it down. But actually, this is the first time that I'll publicly say we are actually planning on reopening the hub March or April of 2019.
And I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, so that'll be really fun. And we'll be able to give our customers an alternative instead of having us pick them up in the trash truck. We're a hauling company, and you trust us with your waste. So instead of picking it up in a trash truck and landfilling it, we can pick it up in a pickup truck separately, bringing things back, benefit members of our community in need, to create value back out of the waste stream, and create that.
I had people the whole time that the hub was open. I'd have people come out while I'm picking their trash up on the regular work week, and they'd give me handfuls of stuff. It could range from shirts to shoes to hoodies to silverware to plates. They'd give me anything. I had multiple customers on our regular route that I run every week come out whenever I'm picking their can up and just hand me a pile of stuff and be like, hey, can you take this to the hub? As long as it ain't too big for my truck, I definitely
we can put it in the cab. Yeah, you just put it in the cab. And I know we actually had to run out pickup trucks and go meet the trash truck because they had so much stuff in the cab being donated to the hub. So we'd have to empty the cab back out just so that we could, so that they could continue collecting more stuff.
Yeah, the plus side with me is I don't have anybody running with me 90% of the time.
Right.
So I can just cram her. We fill her up pretty quick.
Well, and that's another really cool thing that I always enjoyed about the country routes, and I think is very unique. First off, just being a trash man, you don't really, you have a boss, but you don't interact with your boss.
Nope.
Here's your route sheet. You got to go to all of these places, do all of these jobs. You don't really communicate back and forth. It's on you to do, unless you have a question, which happens 2-3 times a day. You might talk to somebody else. But other than that, you are absolutely on your own, and the trash is waiting for you.
Yep.
So it's not like the customer has to be there, and you don't have to make that appointment. You're out there. That trash is waiting on you. If you hurry through your day, then you can get done a little sooner. If for whatever reason you're running a little slow, you just get done a little later.
Yep.
And it's up to you to set the pace of what you want and kind of run your whole day and all that kind of stuff.
And that is 100% my number one reason why I like the job.
Yeah.
Because, you're my best friend. I've known you since I was, way back in the day.
Yeah. You were in middle school, probably?
Oh yeah. Well, when you first started really getting to know who I was, I mean, I've been hanging out with your brother since I was like
I guess
4
yeah,
or
younger
5, like since day one of us going to school together.
Yeah.
And I mean, I only talk to you whenever I want to come by and talk to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we don't even talk that much here.
Yeah, what I like about my route is that I'm 100% in control of it. I'm 100% in control of it every day of the week, but my day is 100% revolved around me.
Yeah.
So I get up whenever I want to get up, which is normally earlier rather than later because I don't like running late. So, and then my day to day is 100% revolved around me, not revolved around having a thrower. So
Or a schedule to attend to.
Yeah, I go out, I pick up my trash route. Nobody else picks up my trash route, so it all depends on how fast I want to move is how fast I want to get done. And normally I don't mess around because I like getting off earlier.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that it's 100% dependent upon me. So I don't have to worry about somebody waking up late. I don't have to worry about swinging by a gas station 2-3 times a day because this guy needs something. If I don't need to go, I don't.
Yeah.
So
that is just one of the really unique and cool approaches. I think just for the waste industry, it's unique to other careers, other jobs and stuff. But then also your interaction with the customers. You know, how many customers do you talk to or communicate with while you're en route?
On a day-to-day basis, anywhere from 5 to 25 people a day.
Yeah.
I mean, today I had a guy that I've been meaning to say something to the office about it for a couple of weeks now. I go to his house I go to his house every week, and for me to safely pick up the stop, I have to back up into their driveway to kind of turn around or to avoid blocking one of the main highways in the area. So I back up into their driveway, and where they put their can, by the time I get all the way into their driveway and out of the road, the can's in front of the truck. So I have to get out of the truck, go up to the front of the truck, drag it all the way to the back of the truck, and then I put it back where I would like it. And then the next week I come and that's in the same spot that it was the week that the day that I picked it up. So there's no communication in between me and the customer unless I say something to the office to say, hey, can you give this customer a call to let them know to leave their can where I would like it to be every week? Well, today I got lucky because they were out. I didn't get lucky. I was running late. So they were out doing stuff around there. It was a little farm. So they were out doing stuff outside, and I was like, hey, sweet. So I dumped their can, and then I drug it up the whole driveway for them to where I could go up there and speak with the customer and be like, hey, you guys don't need to worry about running it all the way down to the end of the road. I'll put it right where you want it, and then every week you don't have to walk as far, and then I can safely pick up your can every week and not have to worry about the traffic. So,
yeah.
Yep, just worked out.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
How many customers do you pick up a day?
It ranges.
What's your daily average?
So daily average is roughly about 200. My heaviest day of the week, I think, is like 275. Today I picked up 215. So
it's a lot of stops.
Yeah, it's a lot of in and out.
It's a lot of climbing up and out of those trucks.
The last time I started here, I think I lost like 32 pounds in the first month and a half I worked here. So I'm hopefully going to make that happen again.
Yeah, definitely get you in shape, just getting out and running around.
Yeah, I'm definitely not in trash shape yet.
Yeah, trash shape.
It's a real thing, by the way.
Well, and another, my always favorite time of the year to be out on the trucks is right now. I mean, the weather kind of sucks because it starts to get colder. You start dealing with trash frozen in the cans. That creates a nightmare of problems and all the other fun stuff that goes along with it, and being able to reach customers if there's snow or ice, bad weather, stuff like that. But we do live in a pretty genuine where we receive like gifts and tips and Christmas presents and things like that. There we go. You always get a little bit of stuff, starting in kind of mid-December to go through that Christmas time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's always great when the customers think about the trash man to give that little something too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, whether it be a couple dollar tip or a gift card or an actual gift, or some customers like bake cookies and they'll walk them out to you and hand them to you, you know, whatever. So it's really nice to feel that appreciation. I know.
Oh, it's 100% nice. I mean, I got all kinds of stuff last year. I mean, it ranged from gift cards to $10 here to I had a guy give me a cigar, this huge cigar that I couldn't possibly smoke, so I didn't. But I was super appreciative. So I mean, I've got the customers definitely appreciate what we do.
Yeah.
So, and we appreciate that they appreciate us because we don't see it every day. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, because out of the 200 customers, you talk to 20 on a busy day. I mean, so that's not even, you know, 10% at the most of the customers you actually interact with and communicate with. But they're most of the customers we never even talk to. You know, you guys don't talk to. They talk to the office. They make their payments. They get their bills. They call in with any questions, things like that. But direct conversation with the drivers, they don't have it a whole lot.
No, not. I mean, every bit of 90% does not.
Right.
I mean, you like you said, you're lucky to get that 10% out of the weekly, not daily, weekly.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I might, like I said, I might get lucky to get anywhere from 5 to 15 people, but 15 people's like max.
Yeah.
So,
what are some of the other things that you would like to kind of share, or maybe that you would like customers to know?
tie your bags.
It does help when the trash is
100%
bagged.
Changes the way that the trash goes into the truck. It's not really a complaint because it all goes in it no matter what, but it's something that is nice if they do.
Yeah. Well, and explain as to why. Because we have a semi-automated truck, so we grab the can and hook it up to the truck and then hit the lever for the cart tipper. The cart tipper picks up the can, dumps it in.
Yep.
But it's basically just the trash coming out and then not blowing away.
Correct. So my biggest pet peeve with an unbagged or untied trash bag essentially is, so no matter what you do, you can't change after the truck essentially pulls the trash into the truck.
Yeah.
You can't change whenever you open it back up that a couple bags fall down. So when you put a loose, I'm saying loose as in either just straight throwing your cup of soda into the trash can, or somebody has an untied bag that while dumping it dumps all the trash out of the bag into the back of the truck.
Right.
So whenever I say loose, I mean that's what I mean. So the loose trash, whenever those bags fall out of the back of the truck and fall down back into the hopper, it shoves all the loose stuff up, which in turn causes trash to fall out of the truck, which causes the driver to have to hand pick up trash off of the side of the road.
Yeah,
So
especially if it's glass.
Or it could be glass.
Yeah.
And glass is a nightmare. I mean, glass is an absolute nightmare. So it just adds an extra step. And if it was a bag of trash and say the truck decided it wanted to shove it out of the truck, we don't have to pick up individual napkins and little knickknacks or something of that nature. We just grab the bag like you would carry it out of your house and throw it back into the truck. So it's just a little bit more convenient and a little bit better on our part. Yeah.
That's one of the things that I ask other people all the time is like, how can I be a better customer? And that's one of the things that I believe people really want to know is how can they be a better customer?
Yeah. And it's not that it's a problem. If you decide you don't want to use trash bags, I'm still going to pick your trash up.
Right.
I'll come get it every week. Doesn't bother me a bit. I'll be there every Tuesday.
But information is pretty cheap to trade. So just like turning, like one of the big promotions we did last year was facing the trash cans the proper way.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
that changes the whole day.
It changes. What did I calculate? It saves 7 steps. I think that it saves 7 steps per can. And then the average step, I think we measured, was like 2.5 feet or something like that. And it came out to be like on an in-town route, right? So not out of town like what you're running, but an in-town route. It was something like it saved like 6 miles a day per truck, of time, and or of walking distance, right, for the guy loading the trash on the back of the truck, and then it saved 1 hour of load time. I mean, just turning your trash cans saved us 1 hour, and that's 2 guys and a whole truck. That saves us an hour and then 2 hours of man hours, right? So 2 man hours.
So you're saving the truck and the 2 individuals an hour's worth of time.
Exactly.
Which
and
is a
then
lot
you're
of
also
money on
saving
our
6 miles of walking.
Yeah.
That's boots and joints and knees and everything else that go into kind of making the job a little difficult. You can cut out that pace just a little bit. Yeah. So the correct way would be handles facing the street. So the handles that you can move your can with, when you open the lid, it would fold towards the handles. Handles facing the street. That way, when the guys get there, they can just grab the handles and pull it.
Yep. And then we also try to do the same for the customer as well. So once we dump the trash can for you, we try, if the situation is feasible, we try to face the handles on the can back toward the house for the customer.
So all they got to do is grab it.
So that all they have to do is grab it off of the road, not in the road.
Right.
So if the handles are facing the road every time when we put the can back, the customer has to do the same thing we do and come into the road to get their trash can rather than just grabbing it off of the curb and it being convenient for them. So that's a big pet peeve of mine. I'm pretty crazy about it. So
can placement's a huge deal.
It is a huge deal. I mean, it does a lot for the company, and it does a lot for the perception of our company. It does a lot for the customer. I mean, it saves them time. It saves us time. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So
well, it's kind of weird to see a street that's lined with our trash cans, and you see it, and it looks good. You know what I mean? When a street looks good with the cans and they're not all just even being angled 5 degrees, 10 degrees, each one a little different. It just looks kind of a haphazard and messy. But when they're all done right and they're all facing the same way and they're all angled properly, it just gives it a little bit of cleanliness, professionalism, just makes it look a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah. And it's just that little bit of attention to detail that I think really allows us to set apart from any competition or anything.
And we 100% do right now, not bagging on any other company, but if we give the slightest bit of effort more, then it sets us apart 100%.
Yeah.
So
yeah, can placement is something definitely that we've talked about and pushed on, and it's something that you got to worry about the weather when you get certain cans. The shorter cans with the wheels kind of exterior of the can, they stand up better and they don't blow over easier. We've tried like toter cans that are easier to stack and store and deliver because they slide in together with their wheels on. But the wheels are within the mold of the can, and so they don't have the wind stability. So they tend to fall over more, or they can't angle. Like if, not every driveway or every property that we pick up the can on is completely flat. So you typically use the front of the can where the wheels are not as a stopper, so that it doesn't roll away.
Which that goes back into the if putting the can back the way we want to put it back is feasible, we will. But there's going back to that percentage, just like the percentage in running into people, you might have that 10% that there's no options. You have to put the can with the front of the can facing the house.
Facing downhill.
Yeah, facing downhill because the wind blows just right. And if the wheels are facing downhill, I mean, either the can's rolling or the can's falling over.
Right.
And we don't want it to fall over because then the customer's got to pick it up. Right. And, I mean, that's also another thing that if you got to walk it all the way down the hill, walk it all the way down the hill. That's another thing that I try to make it as easy as possible on the customer for the situation that I have.
Right.
If it takes a little bit more effort on my part to not leave it right on the curb and to walk it 10 foot up the driveway to be able to put the can back the right way, I'll do it. Doesn't bother me a bit.
It's just customer satisfaction.
Yeah, for sure. And I like my customers to be happy. I mean, they all know who I am. So
You also have experience in diesel mechanicking.
I do.
And you have your degree in that, and that is something that you've helped a little bit here in our shop too. So that's one of the things I talk about, like with small business, is we're not a big company where everybody just has one job and you stick to this job and you do this day in and day out. Literally, we've done everything from having you, run the actual trash route, obviously, to helping work on the trucks, using, your education in that level, to even help paint some of the dumpsters and, and all kinds of different stuff.
Just about every job besides hitting some keyboards.
Yeah.
That's the only aspect of the job that I don't really know a whole lot about. I feel like I'm pretty self-sufficient. So, for example, I was driving the truck last year and my transmission light popped up on the dash. And then on the keypad for the transmission, how you put it in drive, reverse, neutral, so on and so forth, popped up and said, change oil. Well, I called Ray up. I was like, hey, man, what are you doing? He's like, well, I'm off today. And I was like, well, I'm in a little bit of a pickle. And he's like, well, I don't know, man. I'm up in St. Louis or something. I was like, don't worry about it. So I stopped my route. I drove back to the shop, dropped the oil pan, changed the oil filter, put the oil pan back on, got it all buttoned back up, put some oil in it, turned it back on, reset the code, and then I went back on a route instead of... So the other guys, they're not confident enough. I'm not saying that they can't do it, but they probably shouldn't be doing it.
You went to school to do it. So.
They probably shouldn't be doing it, but they're not at any way, shape, or form capable of doing it. And I didn't have to put the truck down for the day, jump in another truck, run my route differently than I normally would because that truck's completely different than the truck that I run every day. Yeah. I didn't have to do any of that because I'm a little bit more self-sufficient. Not saying that the other guys don't do more than what they should, because everybody does more than what they should. So not because they have to, because they want to. Everybody here has a pretty good understanding, and we're a pretty good team. So
Yeah, Freedom Ways has a great group of individuals right now, and the employees all communicate. I know we just did the employee satisfaction survey last month. They actually came back quite a bit better than I was expecting. So I was pretty happy with that. I mean, I didn't think anybody was like miserable or anything, but I wasn't expecting our average to be like 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, that's good.
On satisfaction. So that was really great. And cool, and I think it's only improved. And with some of the missions and plans that I have, and bringing the hub back, and bringing some of the other things that we can bring back to benefit our community, to benefit our environment, and some of the things that we'll be doing over the next couple of years, I think everybody's really excited about. And everybody wants to be a part of another little project, whether they want to be a part of the hub. They want to donate and volunteer there, or they want to help with the recycling center that we have planned, and they want to be more involved on those things. Yeah. Everybody's excited for the new plan as a whole, and everybody's excited for individual pieces of it. And like, hey, I'll help with that part.
I'm 100% excited for your vision.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're going with it, but I trust you. So I think it's going to be... If you're not here for the ride, that you're going to be missing out. So 100%.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
And I have to say, we've lucked out really well with getting team members that are all kind of thinking that same way. Yeah. And everybody's, really doing what we have. And we have this beautiful new office here.
Yeah, it is legit.
That's really worked out. And then now we have the driver area over in the shop. We still have to decorate or fix up the old customer service office into our driver's lounge.
We'll get that straightened out eventually.
Yeah. Well, we only moved in here a couple weeks ago.
We definitely got to break a hole through the wall, though.
Yes.
Because the girls are going crazy because we don't bug them anymore.
Yeah.
They're going.
Well, there is the construction company's coming in at some point. We've called them and told them to come do it.
Yeah.
So we'll have the one way to access both sides of our shop here now. Cool. The customer service,
which actually helps out a lot for the females because then they can just pop through the wall rather than having to walk all the way around the building and be like, hey, Mike, what are you doing?
Right.
Or so on and so forth. So it's just going to be a lot more convenient for sure.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
man, I don't really have much else that I can think of to go over. This was really fun.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm glad we finally got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about it for a while. So.
All right. Well, again, thanks, Ethan, for your work here.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.